All right, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our topic is eCards. I'll be walking you through our eCard system, which is a premium service part of the Income Maximizer. To learn more about the Income Maximizer, you'll be able to go into USANA today, click on any of the Income Maximizer options under paid subscriptions, under the Income Maximizer tab in USANA today. eCards is probably one of our more utilized systems. In fact, it consistently grows in usage every single month. We track our usage of all of our systems. It's surprisingly a very popular system. It was recently integrated in some ways on the back end with our webmail system. I'll kind of point some of those out. It's also integrated with our DLM, our Media Center, and our Health and Freedom solution, and in some aspects with our web hosting. What we're going to be going over tonight is how to find eCards, so the different views, the sorts, categories, personal categories, how to rate eCards, so you can help control in the future what eCards we make more of and what eCards we make less of. How to send an eCard, the to and from, how to use the address book, upload, downline query, how to edit a card using the advanced feature, preview a card, and save a card as a template so that you can use it multiple times. And then I'll walk through the integration point with Follow-Up Assistant. I'll probably touch on some of the other integration points quickly just so you kind of understand the back-end relationships. And then we'll touch quickly on video eCards, which are one of those integration points. All right, I'm going to bring in a browser and we will get started. Probably recognize this. This is the landing page of USANA.com. For those of you that have never used eCards before, to get to eCards, you'll log into USANA today. Under the Income Maximizer tab is a link called eCards. Just click on that. And this will bring up our eCard main landing page. I apologize that this orange bar is here. Just so you know, we're going to have some downtime this weekend, and that's taking up some of our real estate. So the first thing I want to show you is how to find eCards. There are several eCards in here to choose from, and there are several ways to find and view those. First off, what we're looking at right here is what we call the list view, and so everything is listed down. You'll notice there's a thumbnail of the eCard, a short description of the eCard, its popularity, how many sends there have been, and then this is an add feature which I'll go over in just a few minutes. You can also change to what we call our tile view. Gives you a larger thumbnail, most of the same information. You don't have the popularity, but for some this is easier to use. We also have sorting. So in the sort by, I can sort by name, which is what it's sorted by now. I can also sort by ratings and number sent. So I want to say I want to send the same one that everyone else is sending. And so the most sent in this case is first attempt scheduled business opportunity lead appointment. This is a little deceiving only because the reason this is most sent is because this is an automatically sent eCard in some cases. This card, however, is not, and so this is probably the eCard that's most sent by people manually, the enrollment congratulations. The best way to find eCards, though, is to use the categories. So in our case, maybe we want to talk about prospecting health. We have someone out there that may be interested in USANA as a health opportunity. click on that. That brings up my 3 eCards here that are options for me. I could say Nutritionals You Can Trust, Health Advisor, and Rev3 Energy. I can also, if I ever want to, create my own categories. To do that, I click the plus. Say I want to create one. Say my name is Danny Danger, and I want to create my own category. Just put it in there, hit save. Danny's now there, and I can add an eCard to that category very easily just by doing this. And now Danny, the Danny list, Danny category has, oh, in that case, where did it go? There it is. Has 1 eCard in it, and that's the one I just selected. If you are partial to specific eCards, if there are certain eCards that you like, I just wanted to show you the rating system. So if I really liked a particular eCard, say like the Nutritionals You Can Trust, I can say that I like it, and that just adds 1 more vote. You're only allowed 1 vote per person per card. So as you go through these, you can vote once per any card, but you can also change your vote if you want. So if you didn't like this eCard, like this person doesn't like this eCard, they can come back and say they do like it. That just changes the number 1 from the negative and 1 to the positive. Alright, so sending an eCard. Let's just say I'm going to send the Nutritionals You Can Trust eCard. I click on it. It takes just a second to load sometimes. We just barely added something to the server, so it's taking a second. So in here, there are several things I want to do. It kind of works like an email. In fact, it goes through our email server. So if you have a webmail account, this actually is being sent out through your webmail account. So just like in webmail, you want to put who it's from. So if you have multiple email addresses on file with us, they would be selectable here. The only way to add those, I think, is through distributor services. These are the email addresses that you have on file with USANA. So you can't spoof with this. You can't send an email and say it's from some other email address. We have to do that in order to keep us off the blacklists. The two, you have multiple options. I can either just enter in an address, bob@denver.com, or I can use my address book. I can upload from a list, or I can use the downline query. And just like in webmail, the downline query allows me to choose a pre-selected list that I've created in webmail. In my case, I want to choose the address book. The address book comes from your webmail address book. So these are addresses that are in my webmail. So I'm going to select myself, hit OK. And that should be there. Well, isn't that dandy? Okay, I'll have to have you guys look at that real fast. Alright, now I'm there. Want to put in a subject. I want to show you real fast the advanced feature. And what this is we call it bounce. And basically any messages that are undeliverable will not reply back to you. It'll go to what we call a bucket. It's basically a bottomless pit that so you never have to hear. So if you were to send to 30,000 people, which occasionally some of our associates do, they don't know for sure that every single email address in that 30,000 is still valid. Instead of getting back 100 bounced emails where the server says that email address doesn't exist, it goes to a bucket. And so you can turn that off and on if you choose. If you're only sending to a handful of people, I'd suggest not using this, but if you're sending to a large mailing list, I would definitely use this. Okay, so I've got kind of my to and from set up. Now I want to go change my actual card here. I have options to do things like change the image. So these are my images I have uploaded, and say I want to choose Steve the dog. The heck? Okay, we'll just wait for that real fast. I'm going to put my from. And say I want to change my email here. Now this email address can be anything you want it to be. And so even though the from address is going to be my address on file, this one can be anything I want. So say even though I'm sending it from my address on file with USANA, I may want them to reply to a different one completely that is not on file with USANA. So I may say, oh, I want this at DannyDanger@yahoo.com. Hit done. So the next thing I can do here is preview this card. Hopefully. There we go. So this allows me to view the card and what it's going to look like. I can see I changed my name and I changed my email address and I put Steve the dog in there. So if I'm happy with that, then there's a few things I can do with it. I can either make it a saved template, which means when I come back in the future, this eCard is there and ready for me to use. As a card that I've saved, all the changes I've done to it is in there, and I can name it, or I can just go ahead and send it, which I'm going to go and do right now. So the eCard has now been sent. I get the option to either close this dialog and go send some more eCards, or I can also go to what we call the follow-up assistant, which is kind of a lightweight CRM for tracking my interaction with people out in the with people I've contacted in the past. So I'm going to click on Follow-up Assistant. Just so you know, our systems are actually a cluster of servers that are replicated around the world, and so sometimes it can take up to 5 minutes for the eCard that you've just sent to show up in the follow-up assistant, only because the information has to replicate across all the databases throughout all of our data centers worldwide. So I'll click on this. It's very possible that it won't be there yet, but within a couple of minutes it will. Okay, so it has shown. I talked long enough that it was there. So what this is showing me here in Follow-up Assistant is that I've sent this eCard to this person and the current status is sent. The other statuses that are available with this eCard is that it's been viewed, or that it's been forwarded, or both. So where this screen becomes useful is if I've sent this eCard to multiple people, say I've sent it to 100 people, I want to know, okay, I sent 100 of them, and this will show, as far as sent, how many of those we know successfully went. that meaning they didn't bounce back. So if I sent to 100, but we know our servers have figured out that 2 of those addresses were no longer valid, it should show 98. If people click on those eCards and open them, we will show viewed at, let's say, 50 of those people view it. We should show 50 under viewed. And then if anyone is forwarded, let's say 3 of those people forwarded that eCard onto somebody else, we would then show 3 under forwarded. Now, I can also see the same eCard in the future if I go to messages. And so here it is right here. It's the 3rd one down here. And I click on that. There's the same eCard. Also, if I were to end up going to this person, so I go to this person, and here they are. I'm in the system, and it shows that this person has received this eCard. At any time, I can go view this. And you can view this eCard. If you sent it a few months ago and you want to go see it, you can view the sent eCard by clicking within this screen, clicking the View Send eCard. And there's Steve the dog again, and it shows the changed email address and name that I put on there. And all of that was within the follow-up assistant. So finally, what I wanted to show you is the Media Center eCards. It's a little bit different, but it actually goes through the same system. If you go to the Media Center Pro under Income Maximizer, and you go in like you normally would, say I want to, so let's say that Rick is now interested after receiving my eCard, but would like a little more information on why is it USANA's vitamins are any better than GNC's. So I could go and say the nutritionals and healthy cells. Maybe that's something that you've been upselling Rick on. Click on that. There's the healthy cells.
If you're watching this video, someone who cares about you gave you a copy of the New York.
There. And then, even though it says email, it says email because in the free version of the Media Center, it does actually send an email. But if you have Income Maximizer, it's going to send an actual eCard. So I hit email. Maybe. There we go. Same thing here. From Danny Danger. Subject, let's say want healthy cells. I can put in here again. Oop, sorry, I gotta press edit. Okay. And then I hit send. eCard has been sent again. This is kind of what it looks like here. When I go into the follow-up assistant, like I said, it replicates. Right here, you've got the message, recipients are not yet viewable and may take a few moments. Click here to refresh. I'm not showing the recipients there. Within a couple of minutes, this should show. If I click refresh, still not there. What I will do, though, just to waste a minute or so, we'll go into the messages view again. Obviously we've sent a lot today. Want healthy cells, there it is. We show it as a media type. Now it's showing the data has replicated across the world. It's now showing the recipient, in this case just the one. Click on that. Go in and see that I've sent an eCard to Rick. I've sent a video to Rick. If I want to see what video it was I sent to him, I click on it. I can view send. Or view sent. And here we go. I can click on it and watch the video myself. And that's that. Alright, so I've pretty much covered everything I was going to cover with the eCards today. I'm going to open it up to questions. A few questions have been typed in already. I'm going to start from the top and start moving down. Again, any questions you have about any of our systems, I'm here to help you. This is for you. Go ahead and type them in as I'm walking through these, and I'll get to it eventually. And let's see, the first question is, I'm wondering if the title and badge of an associate/director in the eCard could have an option of not showing up in the recipient side. And if I understand that correctly, let me go back into eCards real fast. What's being referred to here? So let's go to the eCard that I sent before. Just take a minute. And let's just preview this real fast. Right here is the level of this user. So Silver Director, Platinum Pace Setter, and I believe in this particular template that appears to not be something that you can remove. And I'm not sure if every single eCard has that. Let's look at this one real fast and see what it does. So it looks like that's a pretty standard thing in the eCards. Now, that doesn't mean that we couldn't create some eCards that don't have that. Let me find out, and I will get back to you, Frankie. I will take a note on that, and I'll shoot you an email afterwards to see if there's any way to have that removed. So I will get back to you on that. But as it looks right now, it doesn't look like you can send an eCard without your rank in it. Very good question, though. Thanks for asking that. All right. And then next question. On send eCard in the email option, why can't we use multiples if we are a married couple? Your email. If I understand you correctly, Lori, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're asking right here I'm going to bring this eCard up so I can show everyone what what I think you're referring to. In the send, the drop down here, you want to be able to choose either yours or your husband's email address, because you guys are your partners in the same business. There is a way to do that. I believe all you need to do, I think in our backend systems, you can call in to the distributor services, and we have a primary and secondary email address in there. And you should be able to have one of your email addresses on there for your primary and one for your secondary. In fact, you may be able to add that in right here under Manage Account, and email addresses. So I've got, but you know what? This address did not show up as an option. So let me find out why the secondary address was not in that drop down, and I will get back to you on that, Lori, and make sure that that is an option. So we'll make sure that that can happen. I think that's a very valid point. All right. Some of the edit buttons on the eCards are so close together they won't allow you to access them. Is that going to be corrected? Oh, I know what you're talking about, the overlap, and I apologize with how that works out. There's only one way to correct this. So the way so my team builds the technology that runs these systems, and then we look to our creative team to populate our systems with content. So this engine here was built by my team, but this actual template that's an eCard is built by our creative team. And so what they do is they're like, oh, we want an eCard that looks like this, has these colors, and we want to put the content in this format so it looks like this when it's sent. What happens is as they're designing this in a WYSIWYG, in an editor that doesn't require them to be technical, they're saying, okay, I want the image right here, and then I want the phone number right here, and the email address right here. Well, if they put the phone number and the address right on top of each other, this isn't the best example here, but I know what you're talking about. This edit button may overlap on top of this email address, and in some cases may overlap right onto this edit button. And I agree, we need to look at those and fix those. I do know that our creative team and our marketing team have decided to go back through and look through all of our eCards and revisit them and possibly come up with some new designs. And I will make sure as they're doing that, they're taking into consideration the usability of the editor screen, the editing screen. So thank you for bringing that up. I will make a note of that and pass that on. All right, next question. Can you make a few designs that are blank that we can customize? Yes, in fact, we did have some up until recently. I know on the old eCard system we had one or two that were completely generic, and on this one at one time we had some generic ones, and I'm not sure what category they would live under. Maybe we don't have them anymore. I'll have to find out on that, but I agree. Someone else has also asked, what happened to my generic eCards, and I'll find out where those are at and see if we can get those back in. So thank you for bringing that up. I will pass that on. And then all right, Lee is asking, eCards sent of either Income Maximizer or USANA app, will the prospect's information be available across platforms? Lee, you'll have to forgive me. I'm not exactly sure what it is you're asking. If you could give me more information on what you're asking, I would love to answer your question. Okay, and that was the last question I have listed. So if anyone else has any questions, please type those in. Again, you can ask questions about any of our systems, not just eCards. I'd be happy to answer them. I'm just going to wait for Lee just a few more minutes to possibly ask his question with more information so I can answer it for him. Okay, Lee's question is, would the prospect information entered on platform be available across the follow-up area of both? Lee, I'm still not totally sure what you're asking, but here's what I think you're asking. I'm going to send another quick eCard, and you'll have to let me know if I've answered your question correctly. What I think you're asking is, if I just happen to send an eCard to someone that's not already in the follow-up assistant, in this case, let's say I'll send it to my personal email address. So I've created this eCard. I'm sending it to this address of someone that is not currently in my follow-up assistant. When I send this, it will show up in the follow-up assistant. Now, that address that I sent it to before, that person does not exist in follow-up assistant yet. But what it's done is it's added it to the follow-up assistant, but I will need to add more to it. So I'm going to show you what that means. So I've sent the eCard to an address that is currently not in the follow-up assistant, which is my personal address. It hasn't shown up yet. Again, it takes a minute or two to replicate across all of our servers. But I can go find this message real fast. Let's see. Where did it go? Oop. Did it send? Oh, so this is the person I sent it to. You notice in my list I don't have any phone number or first or last name because this person didn't exist before. But it will show that I sent him this eCard, so it looks like I have sent him an eCard in the past. But I sent him this eCard, which is Look at Kevin, but I don't have any other information for that person. So I would then need to edit their contact information with any information I have. And hit update. So now this person is and now I have more information for this person in the system. Wait for this to come up just a second. So I hope that kind of answers your question. Basically, if you send an e-card to someone that's not on the follow-up assistant, the only information we have on that person is their email address at that point. So we do show that e-card that was sent and the email address that it was sent to, but we will not automatically know their name, their phone number, their address, or any of that. That's something you will have to add in yourself. And there's that e-card. I hope that answered your question. If not, I apologize. You'll probably have to enter in again so that I do understand it. And then, okay, next question. Are you going to do another auto ship training after the changes get put into place? Absolutely. So we will be making, as you probably saw in the email that went out from Roy yesterday, we are adding a few modifications to the user interface in the online auto ship, and that was due to feedback from you. Once that's in place, I will set up another special training to walk through the auto ship application again and show you everything that's different. There's not a lot that's different. It's very small things, but there's still some differences. And answer any questions you have. Okay, so to answer Lee's question, so thank you, Lee. I now understand what you're saying. What Lee is asking, so some of you may know this already. We have an iPhone app that allows you to access the follow-up assistant. It allows you to send a few of our eCards, a small subset of our eCards. The iPhone app and the Income Maximizer version, the data is completely integrated. So to answer your question, Lee, yes. If I were to send an eCard from Income Maximizer to Rick Wilson, that will show up on the iPhone follow-up assistant as well as the Income Maximizer, and vice versa. If I send it from my iPhone, I will see that on the web version. So yes, the data is exactly the same. So very good question. Thank you for asking. And then please do a simple one without A/B and cycles. We don't want our associates changing those. Also, please mention the 100 points and 200 points to keep someone active. Example, OS 35 points lets them think they can go below 100 or 200 and still be active. All right, some good notes to point out when we cover the new auto ship. Let's see. All right, in the Health and Freedom solution, the typed data in the lower right portion of the invitation is too light. How can we make it darker? All right, well, let's go to the Health and Freedom solution real fast. So I'm going to select a market. Hold on. I'm going to select a market. In my case, I'm going to say US English. And I'm going to send to a friend, which is how I send an invitation. And again, this is an integration point with eCards. So the sending to a friend portion of this, if you have Income Maximizers actually using your eCards to do so, that's why you probably will recognize the two from here. I'm going to say Danny Danger. I'm going to put in the and the subject. And then the information in the bottom right corner of the invitation. So I'm going to go ahead and send this and then pull it up. Sorry. I'm going to edit that. So I'm going to preview it so we can see it. All right, so Letitia, you're asking the type data in the lower right portion of invitation is too light. How can I make it darker? Letitia, I hope you're still there. To the PDF form. Okay, let me go find that real fast. So Letitia, where are you getting to that? Can you just tell me real fast instead of me bouncing around? You just let me know where it is you're going to for that, and I'll look at it. I have the Health and Freedom PowerPoint, Health and Freedom solution. And then, okay. Prospecting button. Okay, am I on the right page, Letitia? The training page. Okay, here we go. So you were talking about the PDF version. The invitation, so I'm going to bring up English, which is right here. And the stuff in the bottom right corner, you're talking about right here. So if I put in date or name or time or whatever, please, so associate details, I can say Rick Wilson. And you're saying it's too light. Okay, I can see that. Let me talk to our creative team and see if they can make that darker for you. I agree with you. That is really light. That's, as you can see, that's a light gray. And I can definitely talk to our creative team and have that darkened up so that it's much easier to read. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I will get that moved into the right department. And I believe that is all the questions. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to be with you. We have some more trainings coming up. We're going to be doing them every week for the next several months. So please join us for the rest of our trainings. You have my email address, so if you ever have questions in the future, feel free to shoot them to me. If I don't know the answer, I typically know who does. And if you have suggestions on other trainings that you'd like to have USANA do, I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.